Hey gang, today I want to talk about holsters for beginner concealed carriers, people that want to, just get started out with their handguns. I think this is part 7 in my video series for beginning handgunners. Holsters, all about holsters and my favorite kind of holsters. Now, anyone that's ever trained with me knows that I'm not, uh, the sharpest tack in the box, but I am safe. And the thing I like most about my holsters is that they retain their shape when I pull the gun out of them. So I can put the gun back in them easily. Another thing that I like about my choice in holsters is that they hold my gun securely so it does not fall out. I mean, it doesn't fall out when I do somersaults. It doesn't fall down when I throw myself backwards on the ground until I want to pull the gun out of it. In other words, if someone were to knock me to the ground, or if I was to find myself in a hand-to-hand fight, that's really not where I want to be. But if I was, I'm not worried about my gun coming out of the holster. So if I ever feel the need to get it, I know it's going to be there. All right. So my holsters that I like are all made out of hard plastic, okay? And the plastic material is often called Kydex. And every one of these holsters will hold its shape. And it will, even if it's inside the waistband with a tight belt wrapped around it, when I pull that gun out, I know I can get that gun back in with just one hand, okay? The problem with these flexible holsters that people get, leather holsters and rubber holsters and canvas holsters, is they're too flexible. When the gun comes out of them, they close up. They're like this. You pull the gun out, they go like that. You go to put the gun back in. Now you're playing around with it, trying to get it in, and everybody always takes that weak hand and opens up that holster and stuffs the gun into the holster and points a gun at their own hand. Okay, and that is really not the smartest thing to do. Okay, I know there's people that may watch this video that use those, and they're chuckling right now and telling me how they've never shot themselves and they've never pointed the gun at their own hand. But if they ever had to use their weak hand to open up the holster to put the gun in it, they did. Okay. All right. First holster that accommodates my Glock 17 with a flashlight. Safety check. Unloaded gun. Okay. Safe direction. All right. Here it is. Great big weird looking thing, but it accommodates my gun. This is an outside the waistband holster, and it holds my gun with the flashlight on it securely. Hey, here's just as a teaching moment, if you're on a shooting range, if you're in a class where you're pulling from holsters, can you holster your gun with your action open and your slide lock back? Yes, you can, and it's fine with me. If you don't want to have that gun loaded, it's okay to put it in the holster just like this. You can you can take it out, you can load it, you can do whatever you got to do with it. But yeah, nothing's going to hurt it, and most of these Kydex holsters will hold that gun securely. That's what I like about them. Just to show people my gun's not loaded, I'll carry it around on the range when I'm talking with the slide lock back and no magazine in it. So everyone's, not worried about me having a loaded gun or whatever. There's nothing wrong with it. All right. You're in a training environment. Yeah. You're going to carry concealed that way? Please don't. But you're in a training environment. It's okay to do that. All right. Second holster is an inside the waistband holster. And these are popular holsters. I'm not going to go into names and companies. If you want to know that stuff, come and sit with me in a class and you can put your hands on these yourself. All right. Until these guys start paying me, I'm done promoting them. But these are good holsters. All right. You can see several different manufacturers make these holsters. They're very comfortable. They go inside your waistband, and these metal clips go over your belt on the outside. All right. They're surprisingly comfortable. Okay. There's an outside the waistband holster that has 2 forms of retention. It has friction retention, okay? So it's got a tight fit around the gun. It sits outside your waistband. They also call them paddle holsters because this paddle-shaped thing goes inside your pants against your body, all right, to hold the gun securely. And there's a little hook here that goes underneath your belt on the outside that keeps the holster from coming up when you draw the gun. This holster also has a second form of retention called a button I call it a button. You could call it a lever, I guess. That must be depressed with your thumb when you draw the gun in order for the gun to come out. Otherwise, the gun won't come out. Okay? Makes it harder for someone to grab your gun out of your holster. All right? So that's what you want. If you're going to carry outside the waistband, you want to start adding levels of retention to your holster. Law enforcement officers oftentimes will have 3 forms of retention on that gun. They'll have friction retention, they'll have a button or a lever, and they'll have to twist the gun in a certain direction in order to get it out of the holster. This makes it very difficult for someone to grab their gun, but some people still are able to grab the cops' guns. And even with all that. So if you're going to be carrying outside the waistband, if you're going to be carrying openly where people are going to see your gun, if your state allows you to carry openly, you better have a lot of levels of retention on that gun. And I would suggest that you go and learn from someone that knows how to teach you how to keep that gun in the holster against someone trying to take it with your hands. Okay? Learn how to fight to keep your gun in your holster. Okay? You're going to show that gun to everybody. There's a possibility that somebody might try to take it. Why would you be carrying a gun if you weren't worried about maybe having to defend yourself? Okay? All right, so we got 3 different kinds of holsters. Ankle holsters, work the same way. My ankle holster's got that Kydex plastic material, and I can put my Glock in there if I want to, and carry this gun on my ankle if I want to. It's a very comfortable. It's got a really thick pad on it, a Velcro strap. It's a nice holster. I like it. Ankle carry. It's harder to get to, but if that's the only place you can carry and you want to carry, then ankle is good. It takes a little longer to get it out. You have to really train to get it out. All right, but it is what it is. Just did another safety check if anyone was worried. Here's one that I don't recommend for beginners. A lot of professionals use them. I don't see why. There are better choices out there. A lot of professionals use these. And I am going to name this one. It's called a Blackhawk Serpa holster. And the reason why I don't like it is because this button here, this retention button that has to be depressed, lines up with the trigger guard of the gun and the trigger face. And if you're in a hurry and you're a beginner and you haven't really myelinated all of these great safety techniques into your system, you can put your finger on the trigger as you draw this gun. Okay, and maybe pull the trigger. Now, there are other manufacturers that have improved on this design, and they put the lever up higher on the holster so that when you're pressing it, your finger's up here and away from the trigger when the gun comes out. So, if you're in the military, if you're special forces, if they issue you this holster, if you pull your gun out of it 1,000 times a week in training, you're probably going to be okay. All right, but most beginning concealed carriers aren't. Okay, and I'll be perfectly honest here, probably shooting myself in the foot, but most people get lazy. I get lazy. Most people get lazy and they don't train anymore and they give it up, and then they continue to carry and they get real loose and real rusty, and you don't really want to have, and these are expensive holsters. You don't really want to have this holster if that's the kind of person you're going to be. I think that's about it. I'm right now, because of my torn rotator cuff, I'm wearing a thigh holster, like you might see a SWAT or a military guy carry when they have so much other junk up here that they just can't get to their gun. I will see if I can step back here and show you where it's at. It's really, it's just because of my shoulder that I'm carrying like this right now. No, I don't walk around the streets, even though I can open carry in my state. I don't open carry. I don't want to show people my gun. I don't want them to know I got it. This is a very comfortable gun, though, when you have a torn rotator cuff. Or, I'm sorry, a very comfortable holster when you have a torn rotator cuff, and you don't have to raise your elbow up too high to get the gun out. All right, guys, holsters, questions, comments? Facebook, Sentinel Firearms Training, LLC on Facebook. Okay, or the comments section below. Give me some comments. Thank you very much for your time. Let's all stay safe.